supported by some very promising younger talent. Watch out particularly for Linton and Oakes. And then, of course, there's a very strong Welsh influence with Luton these days. Swansea-born John Hartson scored the first of the 2 goals against Newcastle, and his aerial prowess will surely test Cardiff. Kerry Hughes, he missed the Newcastle game through suspension, but now the Rhondda-born player is back to turn out against the club he used to support from the Ninian Park terraces. Our man in the middle is Roger Dilks from Lancashire, one of the more experienced referees around. He's been on the league list now for 10 seasons. So we're all set. A raw, blustery South Wales afternoon. The rain and the sleet of the morning has held off, and we're all set. Cardiff City and Luton, each 90 minutes away perhaps from a place in the quarter-finals of the 1994 FA Cup. If Cardiff can repeat the form of Manchester City, and Luton can again show the form that they gave us against Newcastle, we could be in for a real thriller here on what is a marvellous day for both clubs. And in this first half, it's Cardiff City, all in blue as usual, who'll be attacking the goal away to our left, but an early throw-in for Luton Town. This is Gary Thompson, pressurised from behind by the diminutive number 10 for Luton, who's David Priest. Watch out for him alongside Kerry Hughes in the midfield area for Luton. Luton particularly strong in midfield. They're a smooth passing side, and the pitch here, even though it's a little bit soft underfoot, could well suit them. The ground staff have been working hard on it. That far side over there has been heavily sanded. This is John Dreyer, but a first touch for Carl Dale. Carl Dale starting a game for the first time this season for Cardiff. Oakes is on the left-hand side here for Luton. Support infield from Harper. Now then, Priest is onside this time. And Badley tumbles as he half gets it away as far as Harper. And, well, Derek Brazil decides to just usher it out of play for the corner for the first time. Cardiff City defensively not entirely sure of their bearings. And the corner will be taken by Scott Oakes. First of the game for Luton. The swirling wind here could cause a problem. As Grew comes, doesn't get there under pressure from Hartson, but does at the second attempt. Mark Grew, well known now nationally for his penalty save against Keith Hill in the last round against Manchester City, but one or two of his kicks downfield leave a little bit to be desired. Actually, that penalty awarded to Manchester City for the foul on David Rocastle came about because of a poor clearance by Grew. Hughes, Oakes, Priest, and Hughes is onside. Support infield from Telfer. It's still Hughes, it needs a good ball. This is Telfer! And the Scotsman, Paul Telfer, misses his kick at the near post, and that surely should have been an early settling goal for the First Division side here. Hughes, the Welshman, sprung the offside trap here superbly, timed his run ever so well. The ball in was delivered well enough, but Telfer couldn't make it count. And that should be Mark Grew's ball. Seven minutes remaining of the first half. Cardiff City 0, Luton Town 0. Again, a lax clearance by Mark Grew. And that's given away by Bird. This is Priest. And this now is Oakes, who's onside. Scott Oakes has Hartson in the centre. He's going all the way on his own, and he scores. Lovely finish by Scott Oakes. And a goal for Luton Town in the 39th minute. Beautifully taken by Scott Oakes. This time Hartson, the centre forward, was the decoy in the centre. And Oakes took it on himself, beat the last defender, and drilled it in low beyond Mark Grew. A splendid goal, his 7th of the season.
It was the first time that when they get the break in behind Derek Brazil, you can see here they pinched the ball off a short goal kick, a lovely ball played through, and instead of wasting it where they've done in the past, he's pulled it back and then just drilled his spot. Unfortunately, no defender got close enough to prevent it.
And the root cause of that goal, a very poor ball infield by Tony Bird, just inside the Luton half. That was intercepted by David Priest, immediately transferred wide for Scott Oakes. And as we hinted, the danger for Cardiff was going to come from the left-hand side. Again, this time it's Kerry Hughes, furthest man forward. It almost breaks for Oakes again. Now it's Linton. Cardiff City, a goal down to Luton. Hartson against Griffith. Drew gets there. So this now a big examination of Cardiff City's FA Cup prospects. But remember, here at home against Middlesbrough in the third round, they were twice behind, but came back to force a replay, and then they won, of course, memorably at Ayresome Park. This is Searle. Cohen Griffith. Telfer for Luton Town. Hartson. Oakes. Now on the right-hand side is Oakes, and Drew will collect. And Gary Thompson has given Tony Bird too much to do, I fear, but he has kept it in play. So it's away by Dreyer. 4 minutes remaining in the first half then. Luton Town leading Cardiff 1-0. But still a passionate Welsh roar from the Ninian Park crowd. The spirits of the crowd certainly not doused by that splendidly taken goal by Scott Oakes 2.5 minutes ago. No clean sheet today for Mark Grew. This is Hartson. Luton looking quite threatening now every time they proceed forward. They could have scored prior to the goal with better delivery into the penalty area. It was noticeable for the goal that Oakes decided not to try and fire in the cross. Instead, he carried the ball into the penalty area himself on the ground, beat badly, and slotted it beyond Mark Grew. Can Cardiff respond in the remaining 2.5 minutes before half-time? That would certainly raise the roof. It's in towards Richardson. Will it fall for Richardson? Now then Dale. Well, he was onside. Dale and Thompson both onside. But the miskick from Richardson wasn't miskicked enough, really, from the Cardiff point of view. Got too much on it as far as his fellow strikers were concerned, and through to Summer. Hartson beats badly in the air this time, but nobody to pick up the pieces for Luton. On by Dale. This is Dreyer and Linton. The more cultured football coming all the time from Luton. The flag stayed down. Cardiff hesitant. Keith. Linton, this time the flag is up against Telfer in the centre, who is slow backtracking. So, Curry looks for Thompson. It falls instead for Cohen Griffith, taking on Linton. Linton, the more powerful of the two players, standing up to him well, but Griffith does find Searle, and that's offside against Paul Miller perhaps. maybe Caldale. And just signs in the last 10 minutes or so that the midfield battle is being won by Luton, but this was promising for Cardiff.
Well, that was a good run by Cohen. He's really able to beat a man. You've got to get the ball in from near the byline to give anyone a chance of scoring. As it is, it came out to Damon Searle, and he's floated the ball in behind them, and it goes to nothing. In fact, in the game has been an exciting game. Both sides could have scored, and basically Cardiff were just a little bit unlucky to be a goal down. In fact, it's always this problem in behind the right back and behind Derek Brazil. About 4 or 5 times they've really got away down there, and out of one of those occasions they've scored.
Well, Cohen Griffith has been flat on his back for some 25 seconds or so now, and he'll need treatment. Well, Luton Town are actually trying to continue the game on the far side, but the referee instructs them to stop immediately because, as you can see, Jimmy Goodfellow is on the field again for a second time. Could be the lower back the problem for Cohen Griffith. Maybe just a knee in the lower back there from Des Linton, the problem for Cohen Griffith. Griffith has looked quite lively on the left-hand side for Cardiff. But as you say, Mike, the root cause of Cardiff's problems down the right-hand side of their defence. Can you see any sort of reshuffle at half-time from Eddie May? I can see from time to time Brazil is calling for Bird to give him more support back there.
Yes, I think that really is the answer. He's had too many players to deal with, and the trouble is he's sucked in because of the way in which they pass the ball around. He's sucked in on a covering job, and when the ball is released, he has difficulty then in coping, mainly with Kerry Hughes, but with Scott Oakes as well. They both have got down that side and got in behind Derek Brazil, and that's caused really the only problem that Cardiff have had all the time.
Harper finds Linton. This is Oakes, now he's on the right-hand side. This is Priest. Oakes once more. And that should be smothered at his near post by Mark Grew, and is. But Scott Oakes is transferring across the forward line all the time, and Mark Grew is down injured as play continues. As you can see, Mark Grew on the edge of his penalty area as he tried to kick clear has obviously injured a groin muscle. He was doubtful before the game because of that problem. He had to undergo a fitness test, and it looks to me, judging by the expression on his face and the way he's covering his face by his hands, that Mark Grew in that instant might have played his last part in this game.
Yes, he's caught it badly, that's the trouble. And he's hit either into the ground or he's hit across the ball. And that certainly is a big problem now for Eddie May.
Well, as you can imagine, that Phil Kite, the Cardiff City reserve goalkeeper, is warming up, but the half-time whistle has been blown in the meantime, so they will be able to work on Mark Grew during the interval. Scott Oakes there departing, more than satisfied with his first half's work. He scored the goal after 39 minutes. Luton Town playing the more composed football in midfield, holding the advantage. Cardiff City with 45 minutes to try and stay in the FA Cup. They trail Luton Town at half-time by 1-0.
Still stand on anyway, some part of the game. That'll lift the crowd a little bit, and he does make things happen for you, and he's an awful customer. And they might bring him up and play for the up front or something like that.
Let's hope so then that Cardiff can at least get back on level terms. We can rejoin our commentary team for the second half then. Mike Smith, and first of all, Ian Brown.
Yes, 10 Cardiff players emerged from the dressing room area at the end of the half-time interval. The 11th was already on the field warming up. Phil Kite fielding a few shots from Phil Stant, another of the substitutes. Eddie May then looking rueful. I'm sure he has Cardiff City fired up for these next 45 minutes. Their place in the FA Cup very much on the line as they trail First Division Luton by 1-0. And that's not a very good start for Derek Brazil, who had his problems in the first half. And perhaps needs to get in one or two clean challenges early in this second period, just to rebuild a little bit of confidence. This is Perry, the Cardiff captain, drives it forward towards Carl Dale. Dale, well, he goes down, but I think really he was just off balance. He looks pleadingly towards Mr. Dilks, but nothing given. Alan Harper, Phil Stant, who was injured in the replay victory at Middlesbrough, still has a swelling on his right knee. He replaces Carl Dale, who is being eased gently back into the first team scene here at Ninian Park. Carl Dale has played 54 minutes, but now he gives way to Phil Stant, very much a folk hero at Ninian Park. His goals last season fired Cardiff to the Welsh Cup and promotion double. Phil's ball in, and that's easy for Summer.
I think it's a good decision by Eddie May. Carl Dale's a little bit short of his game, and now when the chips are really down, I think that if they can get the ball into Thompson, and for the little flick-offs, then Stant is the one that maybe, with the experience that he's got, will be able to feed off it.
Well, his first touch was a good one. Thompson tried to thread it forward to Richardson, but now it's Priest carrying it forward for Luton, and he finds Oakes. And that's a goal kick to Cardiff City, so two target men really now for Cardiff. The angular pair of Gary Thompson and Phil Stant up front, and it's players like Cohen Griffith and Tony Bird on the other side will have to feed off them.
Come across to help Brazil out, because it was his runs early on that caused most of the early problems.
Well, this time they combine further upfield. Gary Thompson down for Stant. Oh, what a fine goal by Phil Stant! An absolute scorcher by the substitutes. That was quite wondrous. Out of nothing almost. A volley from the edge of the penalty area. Well, Cardiff City make a habit of spectacular goals, don't they, in the FA Cup? Great leap there by Thompson, and there was Stant to make it 1-1. That's the equaliser, and we really have a game on our hands now.
That's what we've been talking about all along. Just gets his body in the right position for the knockdown. What a superb volley. Marvellous goal.
Well, that's his 10th of the season, and surely his best. He scored in the second round against Brentford. He scored in both matches in the third round against Middlesbrough. But now he's got them off their feet on the bench as Phil Stant, with a glorious equaliser here in the 5th round against Luton. So, 1-1. And the Cardiff City Cup dream lives on. A 66th-minute equaliser for Phil Stant. Set up by this man wearing 7, Gary Thompson. But here come Luton with Hartson, who's linesman on the near side. So 15,000 Welsh voices right behind Cardiff City now. It's 1 goal all at Ninian Park in the 5th round of the FA Cup.
The goal was deserved, really, for the effort that they've made this half. The only fault that I could find was that everything was being spooned in a little bit to Thompson. But when Stant came on, that really gave another dimension, and it was certainly a wise move, just what was wanted.
Now Cardiff City have to defend. That's a loose ball though by Priest. Can Telfer win it back for them? He can. Oakes finds Harper. Clayman Searle covering for Cardiff. And decides to concede the throw-in. So a place in the 6th round draw up for grabs. Hartson is trying to latch on to the end of this one. Can he turn away from his marker? This is Kerry Hughes. Still Hughes. Great block there by Badley. Hartson back in there. Away by Perry. Hartson again. Support from Telfer. Linton. And that's a goal kick. The crisis is over. You'll be able to see the draw for the quarter-finals, by the way, after this game. Will the name Cardiff or Luton go into the hat, I wonder? Maybe both.
Good defending by Cardiff then. They worked very hard to close down when the ball rolls out to Kerry there. Jason Perry's tackle was brilliant.
Great defending, yes, by Jason Perry and Lee Badley. They really have functioned very well as a partnership for Cardiff City in recent weeks. Perry, number 6 there, has had an outstanding season. Now then, this is Priest. Play on. Priest is through, and Priest makes it 2-1 for Luton Town. There was a player in an offside position, but he wasn't interfering with play, and David Priest has re-established the lead here for Luton Town. That is a controversial goal. Jason Perry down beneath us is nose-to-nose with the linesman. There was certainly a player in an offside position, but the linesman kept his flag down. Here we'll see it again. The forward player there for Luton on the near side of the picture was retreating. He was offside. Priest went on and scored. He was certainly not offside. The goal stands.
Yes, it's a good ball through. Certainly Priest wasn't offside, but the recovering player was Oakes, I think. But it's played, and it's just come again from a diabolical kick up from the goal. Almost.
So we have a substitution for Luton Town. It's Kerry Dixon, the former England international, on for the young Welshman John Hartson. Well, Cardiff City have calmed down a little bit, but they really were aggrieved at the award of that goal. It's a difficult one, Mike.
Well, yes, because you see it all the way through the game, time and time again, that they're offside when they're...
Miller. Richardson. Miller runs into trouble. It's Harper again. Who else? Disrupting things there for Luton Town, but it will be a Cardiff free kick now for the foul on Miller inside the final minutes. The free kick has to be taken again. Everyone bar Searle forward for Cardiff City. Miller in towards Stance, beaten away though by the Luton defence. This is Searle, needs to turn it back in there immediately. Brazil, Richardson is forced very wide by Kerry Hughes, but does well to find Cohen Griffith. Good play by Richardson. Now it needs a good ball from Griffith. Too close to the keeper at the near post. The linesman is flagging for a corner on the far side. It's seen now by the referee. Summer doesn't want to release the ball, but it will be a corner. We should get a good idea from this angle. Maybe it just crept over the line.
Well, as I was saying, you just don't know where they're going to get a goal from, and then there's a... Cohen does a little wriggle, and suddenly another chance is created.
It's dangerous. Oh, it's turned over the bar by the goalkeeper, but the referee has given a free kick. A foul on Summer, presumably by Gary Thompson. Well, the keeper under all sorts of pressure here. This was curling in underneath the crossbar, and, well, the foul certainly came long after he had touched the ball over. We're in injury time. They could be a couple of minutes. But it does look as though that controversial goal scored in the 71st minute by David Priest for Luton has settled this fifth-round tie at Ninian Park. Oakes now for Luton. Still Oakes. He's been a real threat throughout this game. Blocked there by Jason Perry, and a corner for Luton. They'll take their time over this. You can certainly bet on that. This is their first corner of the second half, and it's come in the dying moments of the game. Rousing support still for Cardiff City. On by Hughes, Linton, off the line by Searle, Hughes again, and again it's Searle away. 2 goal line clearances from Damon Searle. Cardiff City live on. Their FA Cup heart is still beating. And that'll run away for a Luton throw-in. Well, Des Linton thought there that he might have sealed it for Luton when his shot beat Kite, but Searle was in the right place. Anxiety all around Ninian Park. This is Priest for Luton. Now it's Kerry Hughes, the Welshman who played a controversial part in the goal which divides the teams. Damon Searle needs to get the ball away. You can see the clock. The referee's looking at his watch, and that's the end of the game. Cardiff City's FA Cup run is ended in the 5th round, and Luton Town will go through to the draw for the quarter-finals. But the match will be long remembered for that controversial moment in the 71st minute when David Priest was allowed to run on and score with Hughes in an offside position, retreating. Cardiff City 1, Luton Town 2. Cardiff battled so well with 1 or 2 injury problems. They overcame the absence of Nathan Blake and Mark Azelwood to run Luton Town very, very close indeed. Despondency, though, for Jason Perry and the other Cardiff City players. But as you can see, lots of support still for Cardiff. Those are the Luton followers who will be absolutely delighted to see their side through to the quarter-finals. Final word from Mike.
Well, at the end, I think they were very unlucky. I just think that Luton had, at times, just that little bit more experience, but they certainly didn't have that great commitment and capacity to fight like Cardiff lads had, and really because of that, I feel the draw was a fair result, and I think they're desperately unlucky at this stage to have lost the game.
So it's Luton Town who win, and again the 5th round proves to be the final round for Cardiff City in the FA Cup. Not since 1927 have they reached the last stage. It's Luton who go